I found something in his code, and trust me, it gets worse. A constant is a type of variable that is set once at the start of the game and then never changes. Constants in GameMaker are global, and note that unlike global variables, they do not require the use of global dot prefix. Those are enums and macros. What does that mean is that we can access that enum, we can use it everywhere in our scripts. What I have seen in his code is he has enums everywhere in his scripts. He declared the same enum everywhere in his script. So I'm not sure how his game still works. Oh my god. So now in this script he has his values, and he has here a value 2. Value 2 doesn't have any number here. So how does this game work is, so now I have GameMaker open just to test out what happens when we have an enum here that is connected to this game object. I will create a new game object and I will connect it to an enemy, and I will add an event, create event, and I will redeclare this whole thing again. Let me copy the whole file and let's modify like this one, add 1, and this one 2 or something 0. This is the crazy part where he's declaring this unknown enum everywhere. He's using it everywhere and redeclaring it everywhere in the scripts, when the scripts are actually global level. Like everything in the script is global. As you can see here in the documentation, they have this example where they say that blah, this variable blah, is considered global. It's in the global scope and even the functions as well. So to access it, you have to use this one. And what they recommend is that you actually mark them with global, so to prevent any issues later, and he's not doing it anyway. But enums don't need a global dot to be accessed anywhere in the code or in the whole game. They wrote in the documentation that all these constants are set up outside of any function call, meaning they will be initialized before everything else and at a global scope. This means that if you want to use a script to initialize variables on an instance scope, then you must wrap them in a function. Constants in GameMaker are global. They are accessible from any variable scope in the game, and note that unlike global variables, they do not require use of the global dot prefix, and they are enums and macros. Both, they don't really need the global dot to be accessed. And that's the crazy part. He's redeclaring enums everywhere in his scripts, so I'm not sure what he's trying to do here. This unknown enum is declared in each script. I wonder how his game is still working. That doesn't make any sense. What he's doing doesn't make any single sense. Why would you do that? Like, why would you do something like that? What's the point? I'm just searching through the code base that I have. As you can see here, each one has different values. Some of them have value 12, some of them have value 4, value 1, value 0. That, by the way, isn't assigned, so I'm not sure what happens here. It doesn't have an assignment, so it could be getting the value from somewhere else, but I'm not sure how it happens in this case. I created 2 scripts in the GameMaker game engine, as you can see here in those 2, and I added the code, just basic code, just to see what happens when we do something like this. So I decided to run them, and I instantly got an error, which is unknown enum has already been declared. So I will try to modify one to delete one value to see if maybe it works. Look what